Improving my English, blended skill practice. Every day we need to use English in different situations. Meeting people, chatting with friends, shopping, visiting a doctor for the directions in the street, discussing problems with classmates, describing something, giving commentaries and anchoring programs or delivering speech, etc. Learning a language means having a good command over using English in these situations. This unit will focus on some situations and the necessary expressions used in those situations. They are 1.1 Introducing oneself and others, giving directions. 1.2 Describing pictures, processes, and family trees. 1.3 Presenting programs, giving commentaries on cricket, football, etc. Extempore speech. 1 Introducing yourself and others. 1. When we meet one another for the first time, we need to introduce ourselves. In different situations, there are some specific phrases to introduce someone and others. For example, in a formal situation, we can use a "let me introduce myself. I'm," while in a less formal situation, we have to use a "hi, I'm," whereas if we have to introduce someone to other people, we use a "let me introduce you to," etc. Here is a list of essential expressions to introduce yourself and others. Presenting programs, commentaries, and extempore speech. In our social life, sometimes we have to do some public speaking. For example, program anchoring/presenting, delivering speech, or giving sport commentaries. To become a great speaker in these contexts, some set format of expressions or vocabulary is necessary to master. Presenting programs. Presenting or anchoring programs is not an easy task. Anchors are the controlling power on the stage and running the function. The anchors need to be prepared well with enough rehearsal before the program. And they need to know about all the skills and tricks to keep the audience entertained and amused. As a matter of fact, the most significant part of organizing a function is to have a good script. Presenting programs may range from anchoring a cultural function to a seminar. There are different manners of anchoring a program in different situations, but usually it has a common structure. Before further discussion, let us read carefully the written script of an annual function of a school. Some techniques to open and close any cultural/annual/meeting/prize awarding functions. Mostly we have to anchor or present the programs mentioned above. To make a strong impression over the audience is instrumental for the anchor, so we can use some techniques to start and to close the programs. Some attractive openings for presentation. Ask an open-ended question. You can start a presentation by asking an open-ended question. This question creates many a mystery. It opens a knowledge gap and makes the audience wonder about how you'll close it. Do not ask a yes or no question. For instance, I didn't ask, "Can flowers and garlands make people happy?" Instead, use an open-ended question to create a knowledge gap that you later close in your presentation. Start with a story. You can effectively start a presentation with a story or an anecdote that illustrates the key point of your presentation because people really pay attention whenever someone begins to tell a story. A bold statement. You can start your presentation or speech with a bold statement. Most of the good speakers start their presentation with bold statements, and they reflect confidence. Imagine something. Tell your audience to imagine something. Tell them to think of a situation, pretend to be somewhere, or imagine someone. For instance, imagine that you are in a garden filled with hundreds of butterflies and waiting to fly with them. Almost instantly, the imagination open makes your audience a part of your presentation. They are actively engaging with the content of your speech. A quote or a fact. You can start with hard evidence, usually in the form of a quote or documented fact. If you decide to start with a quote, make sure to mention the context and author for the credibility of your presentation. A striking closings for presentation. Striking story. Most of the people in the conclusion come with the story told in the introduction, which can be a great technique. Call to action. If you end with a call to action, it must be short, clear, and well phrased. Some people end their speech with the title, which is also a great technique. Memorable quotes. Another way to end a speech is to say any good quotation. If you end with a quotation, it must be relevant and specific. Your quotation will be more effective if it's personal, or if it comes from a person well known to your audience.